Your jaw is clenched right now. You don't even realize it. That is what holding rage inside does. It hides in your body long after you told yourself you were fine. You smiled. You shook the hand. You said you were good. And then you drove home alone and sat in the parking lot for 20 minutes because you did not trust yourself to walk inside yet. At 3 in the morning, you replay the exact moment, not what they did, what you said instead of what you should have said. That silence haunts you more than any wound. You tell yourself you stayed calm because you are disciplined. But somewhere underneath that, a darker voice says it. You stayed silent because you were afraid of what you might become if you let it out. Every time you swallowed the anger, you told yourself it was strength. But your hands shook a little more. Your sleep shortened. You started laughing less. That is not discipline. That is erosion. Researchers at Stanford found that men who chronically suppress anger, not express it, show measurably elevated cortisol even during sleep. Your body does not forget what your face pretends never happened. The body keeps score of what the mind refuses to say. Suppressed rage does not dissolve. It calcifies. It becomes the tension in your shoulders. The short fuse 2 weeks later over nothing. The wall you built that keeps everyone out. Marcus Aurelius spent 19 years smiling through a rage most men could not have survived. His co-emperor, Lucius Verus, the man he raised, trusted, defended, spent those years drunk, unfaithful to Rome, and celebrated while Marcus bled at the frontier alone. P did not perform calm. At night in his tent he wrote privately, for himself, never for public eyes, that he had to remind himself daily not to let the injustice of it consume him. He was fighting 2 wars, one outside, one inside his own chest. Here is what most people get wrong about Marcus. He did not suppress the anger. He interrogated it. He wrote, "What is this rage actually protecting? What does it fear?" That is a fundamentally different act than gritting your teeth and pretending. He never exploded. He never collapsed. He outlasted every person who tried to diminish him, not because he buried the feeling, but because he refused to let the feeling drive the chariot. He held the reins. You can too. The Stoics had a principle: name the passion before it names you. They called it Propatheiai, the pre-emotion, the flicker before the fire. You cannot control the flicker, but you can name it. And naming it means it does not get to move through you unnamed. Suppression is not stoic. Suppression is shame, wearing a mask of strength. Real stoic practice says, feel it fully, understand its source, and then choose your response deliberately. That is not weakness. That is surgery on yourself with your own hands. Your anger is not your enemy. It is information. It is telling you exactly where your values were violated, where your boundary was crossed, where something that mattered to you was treated like it did not. Listen to it. Do not obey it. Do not bury it. I know what you are thinking right now. You are thinking, but if I let myself actually feel it, I will lose control. I will say something I regret. I will become someone I do not recognize. That fear is real. But it is also a lie you have been telling yourself. You are not at risk of becoming a monster if you acknowledge your rage. You are already becoming one by hiding it. Just a quiet one. The man who never explodes but slowly disappears. That version of you is far more dangerous to your life. Here is what nobody will tell you. Masking rage does not protect the people around you. It teaches them that your anger does not exist, which means they learn your limits do not exist either, and so they keep crossing lines. Not out of malice, because you taught them that is acceptable. Every time you swallowed it and smiled, you trained the people in your life exactly how to treat you. Your silence was not peace, it was permission. And the worst part, you blamed yourself for what they kept doing, but they were just following the curriculum you wrote. So the real question is not, how do I stop feeling this angry? The real question is, what does this anger need me to say, to do, to change, to protect? That shift from suppression to translation is the entire Stoic game. Step 1 tonight. Before you sleep, write down the charge. Not how you feel, the charge. Like a prosecutor. What specifically was done? What value of yours it violated? What it cost you? No emotional language. Just facts laid out like a case file. Marcus did this. When you write it clinically, something shifts. The fog lifts. You stop being the man drowning in feeling, and you become the man examining the wreckage. And from that position, you can actually decide what happens next. Tonight, this is step 1. Step 2. Marcus called it the pause between stimulus and response, but the Stoics practiced it physically. They trained themselves to breathe for 4 counts before responding to any provocation. Not to calm down, to widen the window of choice. 4 seconds is enough to choose who you want to be. In that 4-second window, only one question matters. Does this response serve the man I am building, or the wound I am carrying? That is it. Not right or wrong. Not fair or unfair. Just which version of you walks out of this moment. Step 3. The Stoics were not silent monks. They spoke. Marcus wrote to Lucius Verus directly about his failures, formally, without venom. Your rage deserves a voice, a measured one. Pick one person, one situation. Say what was violated. Say it once, not twice, not 10 times. Once. After you say it, you release the outcome. Not because you do not care, because you have done your part. You translated the anger into language. You honored what it was protecting. Now you set it down. Not buried, set down. Like a man who has carried it far enough. You have been carrying the weight of every moment you chose their comfort over your truth. Every time you went quiet to keep the peace. Every time you walked away and told yourself it was grace, when it was actually grief. That is not small. That is years of yourself you handed away. But that man, the one who swallowed everything, he did it because he cared. He did it because he valued something. That is not weakness. That is misapplied love. And when you redirect that same care inward, toward protecting your own truth, that is where the real man emerges. Whole, not hardened. The man on the other side of this, he is not angrier. He is clearer. He knows exactly what he will not accept. He says less, but means every word. People stop testing him, not because he intimidates, but because he is no longer a man who makes his own pain invisible. That is you, in the making. A man who hides his anger does not master it. He donates it to every person brave enough to ignore him. If something in this found you, if you recognized yourself in even one of these scenes, then you already know what this channel is building. Subscribe. Not for motivation. For the next time it is 3 in the morning and you need someone who understands what you are actually carrying.